News right now was the murder of an Ole Miss student 2 years ago, aided by a Google search, or is it a flimsy case with virtually no evidence? Two dramatically different depictions tonight in the trial aimed at finding if a fellow student killed Jimmie Jay Lee. Thanks for joining us. I'm Richard Ransom.
And I'm Pepper Baker. Lee vanished 2 years ago, and investigators say fellow student Timothy Harrington was behind it. They say the two might have had a sexual relationship before Lee disappeared. ABC 24's Scott Mattis was in Oxford for opening statements in Harrington's murder trial.
Good evening. Things kicked off around 10:15 this morning, about an hour and 15 minutes after it was supposed to start, because the jury, who was handpicked out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, about 250 miles away from Oxford, well, they got up here late last night into the early morning hours. Now, I can tell you they were picked to make sure that this was a fair and impartial trial. The bottom line to this big story, the prosecution and defense, well, they gave their statements to the jury. Well, much of the testimony today, the emotional part, came from Lee's mother. Opening statements kicked off inside an Oxford, Mississippi courtroom Tuesday morning for Timothy Harrington, who's accused of the 2022 murder of 20-year-old Jimmie Jay Lee.
July 8th, 2022, tragically, while also the day that Jay died, it's also his mother's birthday, which is significant because the evidence will show when she didn't hear from him, she was worried.
Both Lee and Harrington were University of Mississippi students at the time, and the state told the jury just before Lee's death the two had a sexual encounter that ended badly. The state claimed Lee left Harrington's apartment, but a short time later was invited back by Harrington.
Right before Jay gets to his apartment, when he's headed over, right before he gets there, just a mere minutes, Timothy searches how long does it take to strangle someone.
But the defense flipping the script to the jury, telling them that Timothy Harrington is not guilty of his capital murder charge, going on to say the state doesn't have any evidence.
Now, let's talk a little bit about what the state's required to prove and what I don't think their evidence is going to show. Proof of the death, first of all. Proof of any death whatsoever. 0. DNA evidence, blood, urine, trace evidence whatsoever.
The defense went on to say, aside from the lack of evidence, a body has never been recovered. Stephanie Lee, Jimmie Jay Lee's mother, emotionally took the stand, recalling the last text message she received from her son on her birthday in the early morning hours of July 8th, 2022.
There was not a day that would go by that we would not communicate with each other.
She told the jury she responded hours later, but never heard back from her son, fearing the worst.
So on July 8th, you did report that you were worried about him to authorities in Oxford?
Yes, ma'am.
The last two people who were in the witness box were two of Lee's very closest friends. Well, they gave testimony this evening, and they're not done. It's going to kick back up tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Of course, we will be there, so stay with us. For now, reporting in Oxford, I'm Scott Mattis.